In this video, we're going to be taking a look at S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chernobyl. This is a game developed by GSC Game World and is the anticipated follow-up to the cult classic S.T.A.L.K.E.R series. Set to release on November 20th, which is just a couple weeks away, this first-person shooter puts players once again in the unpredictable terrain of Chornobyl Exclusion Zone, an area ravaged by both radiation and mysterious anomalies. In this sequel, players can take on the role of Skif, navigating a non-linear story filled with choices that can alter not only personal outcomes, but also global events within the zone. Heart of Chernobyl will launch on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and will also be available through platforms like Steam, Epic Game Store, Microsoft Store, and GOG. Additionally, it will be accessible via Xbox Game Pass at launch, and though no PS5 version has yet been confirmed, the game's timed exclusivity hints at a potential release on PS5 in the future. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chernobyl continues the chilling journey set in the hazardous Chornobyl Exclusion Zone, building upon the foundation of the original S.T.A.L.K.E.R games that first captured fans with their mix of survival horror and first-person shooting. This sequel follows the events of S.T.A.L.K.E.R Call of Pripyat, the 2009 prequel, which introduced players to the fictional world within the real Chornobyl Exclusion Zone, an area transformed by supernatural anomalies and strange phenomena since the infamous 1986 nuclear disaster. In this twisted landscape, factions of stalkers, scavengers, trespassers, adventurers, loners, killers, explorers, and robbers risk their lives to seek out valuable artifacts altered by the zone's anomalies, while avoiding mutated creatures, deadly radiation, and otherworldly disturbances. In this game, players will step into the shoes of Skif, a new protagonist navigating the zone's dangers. The game's narrative will reportedly take on a non-linear structure, with player choices impacting not only Skif's immediate path, but also shaping broader events within the zone. GSC Game World seems to be working on making S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 more approachable for newcomers, with the idea that you don't necessarily need to know the previous games to follow Skif's journey. At the same time, longtime fans might find plenty of familiar spots and nods to the past that could make the experience even more immersive. As Skif, players will likely face a world where staying alive requires staying on your toes, decisions that have consequences that ripple throughout the zone. The Chornobyl Exclusion Zone in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is portrayed as a place haunted by supernatural threats and deadly anomalies, bizarre disturbances that bend the laws of nature and pose grave risks to anyone wandering too close. Anomalies like gravity and carousel return in this sequel, while new challenges push players to rely on specialized equipment such as the GSC anomaly detector. The zone is designed to feel more alive with a revamped A-Life 2.0 system, which could make the world and its creatures feel more reactive. This system aims to create a dynamic environment where factions might fight for control, mutants could be on the move, and even familiar areas might offer new surprises or encounters each time you pass through. Alongside the main storyline, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 introduces new regions and lore within the zone, expanding upon its mysterious and often hostile ecosystem. Familiar areas like the abandoned Pripyat and Cordon regions return, while players can also explore new locations like the Duga Raider Station. Each area holds hidden dangers, artifacts, and stories, adding layers of mystery and discovery. With its emphasis on survival and exploration, Heart of Chernobyl offers a deeper look into the enigma of the zone, where the haunting past and mutated present collide, challenging players to confront both physical and psychological threats in their search for answers. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 Heart of Chernobyl introduces a variety of new mechanics and improvements designed to bring the zone to life in ways that fans of the series have never experienced. A major addition is the A-Life 2.0 system, a complex artificial intelligence framework that controls everything in the world, from NPC behaviors to the movements of mutants and the dynamic events players encounter. With A-Life 2.0, NPCs are designed to follow their own routines, goals, and survival instincts, creating an ever-evolving ecosystem where encounters feel spontaneous and grounded. This system could lead to some pretty unpredictable moments between factions, creatures, and anomalies, supposedly making each trip through the zone feel different. You might find yourself caught in territorial battles or just watch creatures go after each other. This added unpredictability should ramp up the tension, really immersing players in a world where survival is far from certain. Combat has also been significantly updated to match the atmosphere of Heart of Chernobyl. The game brings a revamped ballistics model incorporating realistic weapon recoil, bullet drop, and environmental factors that can affect projectile paths, adding more depths to firefights. Weapons are crafted with a gritty realism in mind, each supposed to feel distinct in its handling, rate of fire, and effectiveness based on range, which would require players to adapt their strategies depending on what they're up against. The game's arsenal covers everything from basic pistols you scavenge to powerful sniper rifles and explosives. You can also tweak your weapons with things like scopes, silencers, and other attachments to suit all kinds of combat situations. Players will have to keep an eye on their resources since ammo and supplies aren't unlimited. Combat tends to reward a more tactical approach, rather than just charging in with guns blazing. Of the interesting features introduced in Stalker 2 is the advanced anomaly and artifact system. Anomalies, strange disturbances in the zone's reality, vary widely in their effects. Some distort gravity, while others produce deadly bursts of energy or radiation. To help navigate these hazards, players use specialized gear like the Gilka 01 anomaly detector, which emits audio cues when anomalies are nearby. The risk is often worth it, as anomalies hide valuable artifacts, rare items with unique properties that can boost a player's abilities or offer protection from the zone's many threats. This system encourages exploration, as braving anomaly fields to locate powerful artifacts can offer a distinct advantage, though getting too close without proper preparation is often lethal. Survival mechanics have been enhanced, adding layers to the experience of navigating the zone. Players must manage hunger, sleep, and radiation exposure, designed to force them to make choices about when to press forward and when to rest. Radiation will play a constant role in Skif's journey, with certain areas and even some items being hazardous over time, requiring players to carry anti-radiation supplies and monitor their exposure closely. The inventory system looks like it could be pretty detailed, but also a bit unforgiving. Carrying too much loot or supplies might slow you down and affect your stamina, which could make you think twice about what you're hauling around. On top of that, the weapons and gear degrade over time, meaning they'll need maintenance to keep them in good shape. It looks like managing your resources and equipment could be key to survival in the zone. Factions also play a larger role in shaping the player's experience in Heart of Chernobyl. Each faction, such as Duty, Freedom, and Bandits, has its own motivations and relationships with others in the zone, impacting how they interact with the player based on their interactions and alliances. Joining a faction can provide access to exclusive missions, resources, and allies, but also makes enemies of rival groups, adding a layer of political complexity to surviving within the zone. The player's reputation with these factions shifts over time, and some actions may have far-reaching consequences that alter how these groups view Skif, allowing for multiple playthroughs with different allegiances. Stalker 2 seems to have stepped up its visual and audio design, aiming to make the atmosphere feel even more intense. Built with Unreal Engine 5, the game looks like it could really bring the zone to life, with incredible detail in places like the ruins of Pripyat and the eerie, abandoned factories and forests. The lighting effects, weather changes, and ambient sounds should add to the tension, with things like thunderstorms and fog making each step into the zone feel unpredictable and unsettling. It looks like the game is trying to mix beauty with danger, keeping players immersed in its haunting world. The development journey of Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl has been a long and turbulent one, filled with delays, setbacks, and challenges that have kept fans of the series eagerly awaiting its release. Developed by GSC Game World, a Ukrainian studio known for the original Stalker series, the game was first announced in 2010 as a follow-up to Stalker Call of Pripyat. However, shortly after the announcement, GSC Game World faced significant internal struggles, including financial difficulties and restructuring, which ultimately led to the cancellation of the project in 2012. This series seemed all but lost, and the team disbanded, with many fans thinking they'd seen the last of the zone. Years later, in 2018, GSC Game World revived Stalker 2, announcing that development was back on track with a new vision for the game. The announcement brought excitement but also skepticism, as fans were cautious about the earlier cancellation. The development continued, and in 2020, GSC Game World shared more details, showcasing the ambitious scope of Heart of Chernobyl. Yet as development progressed, it became clear that this ambitious project will require more time, leading to several delays. In addition to technical challenges, the game's development was heavily impacted by the outbreak of war in Ukraine in early 2022. GSC Game World, based in Kiev, faced immense challenges, as many of the developers were directly affected by the conflict. Despite the chaos and uncertainty, the studio persevered, relocating part of its team to Prague to ensure the game's progress could continue safely. The resilience of GSC Game World's team became a testament to their commitment, and they received widespread support from the gaming community as players rallied behind the developers during this difficult period. The war not only impacted timelines, but also shaped the tone and vision of the game, deepening the themes of survival and resilience that resonate within the Stalker universe. Even with these obstacles, GSC Game World has managed to stay dedicated to delivering Heart of Chernobyl as an authentic successor to the original trilogy. While delays have pushed the release till November 2024, again, which is in a couple weeks away, each postponement has allowed the developers to refine and expand the game, bringing it closer to the experience they originally envisioned. The patience and commitment from both the developers and fans underscore the unique connection between the community and the Stalker series, making Heart of Chernobyl one of the most anticipated releases in recent memory. Final thoughts. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl could end up being a pretty interesting addition to the survival horror scene if it plays its cards right. A lot of the clamor has been around the game's new AI system, which could honestly be a game changer for the genre if it lives up to the hype. The smarter AI is supposed to make the zone feel more alive, with enemies that act unpredictably and force you to think twice about every move. For survival horror fans, that sort of unpredictable, reactive world is just what people would want to see in this type of game. The game's multi-platform release coming to PC and Xbox also opens it up to a broader player base, with Xbox Game Pass subscribers able to jump in at launch. Having it on Game Pass might make it easier for people to give it a try, especially newcomers who are curious about the Stalker experience without having played any of the previous games. So that wraps up our video. What do you guys make of Stalker 2 so far? Are you guys looking forward to this one in just a couple weeks? Are you excited for the new AI systems that it's going to be incorporating? How does it look for you? Are you going to be playing it on Game Pass? Let me know in the comments below.